Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something we all do, our everyday digital habits. The thing is, these simple routines can accidentally open the door to huge security risks. But the good news? We can also be the ones to lock that door. So here's the game plan. First up, we'll get into why we humans are such a tempting target for attackers. Then we'll look at the classic traps, the tricky emails, the social media posts, and we'll wrap up by talking about how we can actually become the best line of defense. All right, to really kick things off, I want to put one number in your head. Just one, 95%. So what's so special about 95%? Well, that's the percentage of all data breaches that come down to us, human mistakes. Little errors, a moment of carelessness. Companies can spend a fortune on fancy security software, but attackers know a secret. It's way easier to trick a person than it is to break through a complex system. They're not just hacking computers, they're hacking human nature. And that really sets the stage for our first topic. The human vulnerability. Let's dig into why we're so often called the weakest link. And this right here, this is the core of the problem. It's this massive gap between how safe we think we are and what's actually happening. Get this, a whopping 86% of people are confident they can spot a phishing email, but almost half of us admit we've actually fallen for one. That gap, that's the sweet spot attackers aim for. Okay, so let's see how this plays out in the real world. Our next section is all about the traps of digital deception. And believe me, we see these every single day. I want you to really let this sink in. Your email inbox, that's the main battleground for cybersecurity today. Over 90% of cyber attacks, they don't start with some brilliant piece of code. Nope, they start with a simple email. An email designed to do one thing, fool you. And they have a playbook, a simple 4-step recipe for disaster. It starts with an email that looks legit, maybe from IT or even your boss. It plays on our emotions, urgency, curiosity, fear, to get you to click that link. Before you know it, you're on a fake site, typing in your password. And just like that, they're in. It's brutally effective. All right, let's talk about risks that are hiding in plain sight. These are things we do every day without a second thought. Okay, get ready for another big number. And this one hits close to home because it's all about our passwords. 94%. That's the percentage of exposed passwords that are either reused or super easy to guess. Now think about what that means. You use the same password for, say, a random online forum and your work email. If that forum gets hacked, attackers now have the key to your professional kingdom. They just run automated programs to try that password everywhere, and eventually they hit the jackpot. So you can see the difference here, right? On one side, you have the common, weak habits we all fall into. On the other, the strong, safe practices. The good news is, making the switch isn't that hard. Using a password manager and turning on multi-factor authentication, honestly, that alone shuts down most of these attacks. Okay, let's switch gears from passwords to something else we do daily, posting on social media. So let me ask you, what could a hacker really learn from your posts? You might think it's harmless, but every little detail can be a weapon in the wrong hands. Your pet's name? That's a classic security question answer. Your mom's maiden name? Same deal. Posting a photo of your new work ID badge? You've just given them your employee number. All this info helps them build a profile on you, making it way easier to impersonate you or send a super convincing fake email. Now let's talk about a weird paradox, how our drive to be more productive can sometimes make us less secure. This is all about the dangers of convenience. So there's this term you should know, shadow IT. It sounds a bit sneaky, but it's usually not. It's just when we use apps, software, or services to do our jobs that haven't been approved by the IT department. We're just trying to get things done, right? But here's the problem. Our goal is to be efficient, right? To share a file quickly. But the hidden risk is that we're using a tool that hasn't been checked for security. We might be storing company data on a personal account, and suddenly the IT team has no idea where that sensitive information is. It creates these huge blind spots. And it's not just about the apps we use. Think about where you connect to the internet. Using public Wi-Fi without a VPN, it's basically like shouting your passwords and private conversations across a crowded coffee shop. Anyone on that same network could potentially be listening in. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problems. It might feel a little doom and gloom, but here's the pivot. How do we fix this? Our final section is all about building what's called the human firewall. So what is a human firewall? It's a total mindset shift. It's about moving away from seeing people as the weakest link and instead building a culture where every single employee is aware, educated, and feels empowered to be a line of defense. And you don't build this overnight with a boring training video. It's a culture thing. It starts with continuous education, not just once a year, but all the time. It needs leaders who actually practice what they preach. You have to create an environment where people feel safe to say, hey, I think I clicked on something I shouldn't have, without fear of blame. And finally, you have to give people tools that make being secure the easy option. So that brings us to the final big question. By focusing on people, by giving them the right tools and knowledge, can we turn our weakest link into our strongest defense? The idea is that by changing our habits and our culture, we absolutely can.